Good evening, Mzansi, and welcome to another episode of Rise. Kajenu Ribuaka, financial health, money, madi, is something that we all want more of. But what is your relationship with money? Mzansi khansi rakanya gore basadi ki di emotional spenders, and that basadi ba dependa mo baneng le di boyfriend for chelete. Min nete ke gore 40% ya matlo a mo Afrika Borwa a tshwerwe ke bomme, and the rest still, women contribute significantly to the finances of those households. Babanti ba rona re a sokola go kgobokanya madi. Goreng re sena boitshepo mo bokgoneng ba rona go bo go tla mo dilong tse di lebaganeng le tsa madi. Anyway, as usual, I'm joined by my co-host. Khanyi, what is your relationship with money?
I have a very good relationship with money. I like to think so. I love it, and I hope it loves me back, type of thing. And it must continue loving. But I'm good with money. My mother's rather good kachelete, so I learned that from her. You know, so ki itse go budgeta, ka itse gore ke berekisa yang, and yeah, ga ke fetse most of the time.
Well, at least not in one go.
Not in one go. Ke fetsa mo le mo.
And what about you, Nyiko?
Go na le dilo tse tshwanetse ke ithuteng tsona ke tla mo tšheleteng, you know, especially mo kileng mo bophelong baka, because it's no longer about go budgeta nile nako tsa high school, we are le mo varsity, but then I mean making the transition into full adulthood and full independence. I think it's important gore ke ithute about tax, man, lead debit order and the laws surrounding that, you know. But yeah, so relationship ya ka le tšhelete inyaka merekonyana, you know, just to be tweaked.
Hey, Ms. Ramafoko, we're the same age pretty much. Are you better than me?
Everything that I've learned about money had to come the wrong, the wrong way. I had to do it wrong first. I'm better right now. I like knowing ukuthi, okay, even if ngizosebenza imali, izosebenza kanjani, you know, because I think most of the time sithanda ukuthi uyisebenzise nje ungayazi ukuthi uzophatala kanjani or uzokhona, because ufuna into and you want it now. Yeah. And that are some of the bad habits that I have learned. I still struggle with that.
We all still struggle with that. When we were growing up, all the adults around us, it was all about establishing your credit rating. So everything in Rekiwa Skoloto, in fact, Skoloto siya encourage you because it's like you have to establish who you are and all of that. And very little about savings was talked about. So when we became adults, it's like something that we just kind of like had to learn ourselves. You know?
I want to avoid your mistakes.
Right?
So like, how did you spend your first paycheck so that I don't do the same, maybe?
Yeah. Well, my first paycheck was spent for me on my behalf.
Okay.
I was 6 years old.
Good.
I've been working for a very long time. I was 6 years old and I used to do commercials as a kid. So obviously my mother, you know, being a single mom, and so there was no like, oh, mom will only take 20%. It was just like,
thank you.
So I consider, thank you, Kgomotso. So my first real paycheck, I was 16 and I was a waitress at a New Year's Eve party at a hotel. And when I came back with it, I think I gave like 3/4 to my mom to also give to my brother and his. He was starting his little family at the time. I remember my niece was like barely a year old. And then the rest I took for myself. So that's what I did with my first paycheck.
But does money like affect how we feel about ourselves? Like, oh,
yeah. Oh no, I'm
not stressed.
Yeah, because I want to access. So of course, in a local establish your self-esteem. But my thing is though, you cannot, how you feel when you have money, it cannot be the determinant of your happiness. It's more important about how you feel on the inside, because whether you have money or not, you still have to find a way to be happy. And money does not equal automatic happiness at all. In fact, it can be the source of much misery.
Yeah, but the problem here, it's not wena ngokwakho as an individual. It's also about communities we come from and how money is seen as access. You know, so yona ngokwayo imali and abanye abantu banayo, abanye abantu abanayo.
We are established, so I want to know from our young women, because it is a challenge for young people with so much high unemployment and all the challenges that they're facing. Where do you guys get your money?
Well, I'm fortunate enough to here and there, so I'm able to get an income. Mare, my mother still, oh, mommy, she helps out.
Mommy's back.
Yes, oh, mommy. she helps out, kadi allowance, more. And when I'm really broke, that's when I go home to my grandma. Because yeah, so that's how it goes in my life.
Linda, Mama and Papa are still very much a big part of my life.
Of your financial life.
Financial life. But I've been trying to break away from that. I've been trying to make my own money. So I started a small business with friends, but then, the numbers got smaller along the way because it is, your baby.
Right.
But we made clothes, we made dresses, and then we sold them, to working ladies, to other students, where we saw a demand and stuff like that.
But I think that's the biggest problem, because when you don't have money, you can make really stupid decisions about where you want to go with your life. You can make decisions that compromise you sexually, as you know, because sometimes all it takes is a cider. Sometimes all it takes is airtime. So the source of money is important. So obviously we're saying that it's important to have, as a woman, your own source of income.
Yeah. After the break, we'll be joined by our guest, Mamatsabu Maphike, co-founder of Muteo Chartered Accountants, which is a 100% black female-owned firm. We are also joined by Nthabiseng Moloi and Boniwe Mbijekwana, group leaders from the Rise Young Women's Clubs. Don't go away.
Re lamogela gape re santse re bua ka tšhelete le gore go botlhokwa jang gore re dirise sentle. Khanyi, who is sitting on the couch, is joined by our guests. Over to you, Khanyi.
Thank you, Kgomotso. I'm joined by Mamatsabu Maphike, who left her career as a development banker and co-founded Muteo Chartered Accountants. It's a 100% black female-owned firm. The firm is dedicated to building foundation for sustainability and economic development. Rilale gape Nthabiseng Moloi le Boniwe Mbijekwana, group leaders of the clubs that participated in the finance challenge that we put together. Nyiko spent the afternoon with the two groups, and they were given 1,000 rand each to spend on whatever they wanted.
I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to decide what it is you're going to do. Here's your 1,000 rand.
We decided to know which is taking something event. This is what I'm like paid to show which is so maybe t-shirt nyana or some anything nice, and then sponsor change, then we buy snacks or anything just to have fun.
Okay then, off you go, guys. Have you guys decided that you're going to have a set price, and then everyone can just get whatever they want underneath that amount, right? Okay, then carry on shopping. These are the achievers. They had a great day out. They spend their money on food and clothes to take home. And there's 15 rand left of the change, right? So let's see what group 2 decided to do with their 1,000 rand.
Okay, wait.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Have you guys made your decision?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so what are we doing? What are we buying?
We're buying stationery for our meetings.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we're gonna have ink.
Ink for
a printer.
Oh,
for
okay.
Our printer.
Yeah.
And then we're also gonna buy a flipboard
Yeah.
for also our meetings as well. And inks, like markers.
Okay. And that's with the full 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
How many soul beaters are there?
There are 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the decision was made for 20 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is a regret or anything. Sithenga yonke into esifunayo.
How much money did you spend?
We used 450.
450 rand. So 550 remains.
Yes.
So what are you going to do with the rest of the money, guys?
We are going to take it to our
Savings account.
savings account
Yes.
for the group, so we can use it when we have functions.
Oh, okay. So as capital for fundraising, basically. Well, there you have it. they decided to buy stationery and they're going to save the rest of their money so they can make more money off of that money. An investment decision.
I have to admit, if I was part of that challenge, I'd probably be in Group Achievers. But anyway, so I'm interested in knowing more about the development work you do. Can you just tell us more about it?
At Motel, we basically do your auditing, accounting, and tax work. And within that sphere, especially with the small businesses that we do, we basically go in and assess in terms of where do they want to be, where are they, where are they seeing themselves in the future. And how, in terms of other things that I do, is also business mentoring for the organizations. What I do is I go in and I do business mentoring for Bona to help them assess our okay, shelter by touring kibukai, babatlo go stock fail, the same sort of approach where we sit down and say, okay, your plan for the year, therefore, what are the investment options selling available for Luna Lidiates?
Okay, so can you do common mistakes that we make with money as Bomme or everyone actually?
I think it's not limited for Bomme Fela. Generally, a lot of people number one, who is a chelete, and number two, who is sebedisa jwang. So chelete a lot of the times haikena iba from a okay kinalem sebetsi kiye chelete. Mara nobody actually asks themselves, okay, in terms of kiye chelete ikeni, ke batlo sebedisa jwang, ke eng objectives tsaka mo bophelong, ke eng objectives tsaka in the next year. So all of it is very because kinalem sebetsi income kiye again. Therefore kiye chelete, okay, then what's happening at the moment? Okay, kinali debit order, it's that approach. It's not a holistic approach. In 5 years' time, I want to be here. Therefore, if I need to get there in 5 years' time, how do I need to change my income stream to make sure I'm there? Because it's not necessarily just about how do you spend the money. It's also the income stream. And with how do I make sure I've got that money to spend to begin with.
In the future. Okay, so ladies Mantombazan, I want to know your motivations. Let's spend a certain ways. What made you buy what you bought, guys?
Every Friday, and Renalidi needs to in our groups. So we thought, oh yeah, we don't have certain things. Why not buy available to everyone?
Yeah.
So we thought stationery, don't have stationaries, and you also don't have other things, but now we didn't have enough money.
Most of our member wait, I are about discourage due to our challenges now. So that time is staying into Tina for the 6 of us that time. Wanted, you know what? Let's prove to them good, even though one baby discourage. At least if Masifika City Tina says one. Then I was like, oh, okay, next time, and then I will buy myself one thing, you know, because it must figure very big, must figure they were not, they're like, oh, okay, so I will make time, So if I attend the meeting, then when I'm gonna miss out on 1, 2, 3, wings,
so bad. Okay, I get it. So Mamatsabu, I mean, what are the possibilities of saving house in income?
I mean, it makes it very difficult. Okay, people must save house na income, and that's why I said earlier, one of the things that besides the spending part, we also need to start thinking around how do we increase our income. So it is very difficult to save or to save. Mara, let's say you have to get to a position where if there is income again, you have to know how. So even if hauna income, at least have a plan. Should I be in a position where there's 1,000 rand again, and then start working towards getting the 1,000 rand. I mean, most South Africa income shelter grant income, shelter pension income. We see it differently because it's a government. So I think when as if income.
These young women, what else could they have done with their money?
There was an investment approach and an expense approach that happened. The investment approach was basically, we have a group, and we've got a group house. There's a place we meet. How do we improve on that? And I like the approach that they took. In a sense, building a system, building an organization instead of just expensing. And then the expense, which is also quite a different dynamic because they focus mostly on just spending the money, but as well there was also it's a very weird dynamic because there's also an investment element in the say that they wanted to encourage the rest of the group to come on board. You know, like how we are as women and girls. We want 1,000 rand, like, reke shopping. So it came across as that initially.
Hey, wait, it's such a pity that Harina enough time to speak about all this, but thank you so much for coming, Kajeno, everyone. Over to you, Kgomotso.
Thanks, Kanye. Ke itumetse ga re nnile le nako ya go bua ka gonne bothata bo bong ke gore ga rena setso sa go bua ka madi unless go na le mathata a re na le ngona ka tšhelete. So we'll take a break and don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Welcome back. All our episodes are important. Gagolo ena. Soul City believes in investing in young women who take initiative. Ke ka lebaka lena that we issued a challenge to the Rise Young Women's Clubs to raise funds for a project of their choice, and Soul City will match whatever that they raise. Re batla gore basadi ba rona ba nne le bokgoni ba go ikemela ga re tla mo tsa tšhelete. Financial independence is key to avoid compromising situations. Increased unhealthy financial dependencies on boyfriends, husbands, and sugar daddies leave us vulnerable to their will. This is the breeding space for HIV and AIDS, sexually transmitted infections, and unwanted pregnancies. Mo re sa tshwanelang go iphitlhela re le mo teng. Banna ga se di banka. Re tshwanetse go tlogela mekgwa e sa re lokelang. Out of interest, guys, if you belong to a young women's club, how would you go about raising the money so that Soul City matches it?
I tell you what I wouldn't recommend. You know those bikini car washes?
Oh my God.
I'm really not a fan. And unfortunately, they would likely make a lot of money. But what happens there is that young women are dressed very, very skimpily. And it's, I know somebody's looking at the TV saying like, oh, so jealous because ena hana bori. But you know what I mean? It's just sort of like that whole, because I think in as much as we want men to stop objectifying us, we also have to allow this space to be different. We cannot keep enforcing the same values when we want them to change. They have to change. We also have to change. So I would say absolutely not a bikini wash. I would rather they bake cakes and have a bake sale. It sounds ridiculous. It's and they can, if they can cook, they can also sell the plady in a sort of like a Stockfell kind of vibe where just like you come and sell drinks, sell cold drinky and food, you know, that kind of things. But please, no bikinis.
They can involve the whole community on that one. So I mean, if you live in a community where soccer is played, you can organize your whole tournament. When there's a fee, you can charge the soccer clubs and say, well, with different teams, each participant has to pay to participate in the tournament. And then you sell food there also. You can even sell tickets so that the whole community becomes involved also in the project, and it's led by these young girls, you know. So that's also something to do. So, I mean, the clubs can be split into the ones that are responsible for the cooking, the ones that are responsible for organizing the soccer tournament, and people are delegated different responsibilities.
Exactly.
I think that would be a really good idea.
To show, let's put on a respectable one. I think that's what you're saying. I mean, whether you use it in terms of theater, you guys have a play, maybe you show what's happening in your community. People love going to those things. Or if someone can sing and you guys can sing, can we have a musical shows? Media idols, Sifela, Lira Ntaya Luna, people pay for what they see.
In any place, there are needs. Kukhona into khona kuyenza omunye umuntu akakhona kuyenza, you know, and I think that sometimes you find that young people sifuna mhlambe ukwenza imali eningi at a go, and not realizing ukuthi ungayenza into encane, you know. And another problem that we have is that if somebody else had sold food, we will be 10 wanting to sell food. Do you understand? Kantike, we could be identifying, even if we wanted to support each other. Okay, fine, how do we break a few things and make somebody do it? So if people do you have a van? If you know kuti kuna maspaza shop elogish, and what you do is transport, because everybody kufana kuta your stock. You know, if you grow your own vegetables, is there a way in which you can supply, you know, a market? You know, if you know how to sew, can you make lovely garments so that we are not all going to shops lapho sithenga izinto ezibuya kwamanye amazwe, you know? So how do we make sure ukuthi imali yethu rotate amongst ourselves.
And there are good government programs that actually help provide people with ideas or with seeds, for example, if you want to start a garden and things like that. And we'll put some of those up on our Facebook page so that people will have access to it. And you, young people, how did you feel about the episode on money today?
You know what? My favorite thing that was said is that banna khasidi banka. I think we should emphasize that over and over again. Financial independence, I've learned the importance of it. And it really is something that, as young women, I think we should be striving for over and over again. Sure. And also, I think we're very quick to spend, you know, and when you get cheletenyana, you go, okay, kilo reka di earphone, instead of thinking, okay, how can I make more out of what I have? So I think we really need to think about that.
What I learned from the inserts also, it's that, yes, you can save, you can spend, you know, you can put money away, but I mean, there comes a time where you know, you've been saving so much or you've been working so much that the only thing that keeps you going and the only thing that keeps you, you know, your eye on the ball is to reward yourself also, you know, to keep going.
Yes,
so
but just
not
not
to
all the time.
splurge. Not all the time, you know? Not all the time, but I think it's you know, sometimes just to keep yourself going.
Well, I mean, I suppose the thing about it is the agency, and in as much as banna is di banka, le basadi le bona ha re di banka.
Oh, right.
So a re batle gore batho ba le bona ba re lebello ka re yo di mamzo ke tlo mo tshwara bentenyana, don't even think about it. No, because like, you know, some people, it's just, you cannot count on another human being to be your source of income. I think is the moral of the story, and that you have to find a way to make your own living.
It's such an important skill to know how
Just
money
for
works.
yourself.
How you do it and how you have to do it. I mean, I just think everybody should do it, regardless of how much money you have.
And starting from as young as possible, because we learn from our parents. As you know, we could go on and on and on. So, Bopi ponder, and we'll carry on with this conversation again next week. As with any relationship, communication is important. Money is no different. We need to seek advice from the relevant people when we don't know what to do. Let's think about how our money can benefit us in the long term. We need to save so that we can gain the financial freedom to enjoy our lives and own our choices. Relebogile thata ma Africa Borwa, thank you so much for joining us kajeno. A special thank you to Mamatsabu Maphike, Nthabiseng Moloi, and Boniwe Mbijekwana for joining us in studio today. Remember to share your thoughts with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Mxit. See you next week. Woof, woof.